Hi everybody, I'm Robin for Western Mass. I want to welcome you to the Sunday Morgellons call. It is Sunday, May 9th, 2021, Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and caretakers out there. And yeah, welcome. So I had struggled with mites and springtails and fleas and bed bugs, and all of those things brought Morgellons into my life for about 3.5 years before I found Richard and his book. I was ready to burn my house down or just walk away and leave it. And you know, through my pastors prayed for me and asked for God to bring creative solutions. And then I found Richard's book, this call, and this community. And it changed my life. And I did get my life back, and then I got reinfested. And now I'm at the tail end of that, and pretty much almost back to normal. It's there are couple of hot spots in my house due to different issues going on with my house, but you know, I was talking to someone today and they said, so where are you in this journey? And I pretty much am like 90% done. I don't have bites or lesions or itchiness or you know, I'm still doing lots of laundry, and I only clean like 2 or 3 times a week instead of like 2 or 3 times a day. So things are getting better all the time. I'm really grateful for the diet, for the book, for this call, and for Richard. And now I'm going to introduce Richard to you guys. So Richard has written 10 editions of his book, How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites. And he is on the 11th edition because, unlike the medical profession, Richard keeps researching, he keeps searching and learning, and we keep helping him as his research team. And so you can find information here and in his book that you probably can't find pretty much anywhere else. You know, it's in one place. It's easier to reach. Richard is here to answer questions. You can email him questions, like 3 questions a day if you needed to. And I'm thrilled to be able to give back and be his co-host. And I'm also thrilled that today we have Margie, one of the people who she started this call a few years ago, and she just has a beautiful heart and spirit, and it's a real treat that she's going to be part of this call today. So I want to welcome Richard. I want to thank everyone who's here, and welcome.
Thank you, Robin. You're doing such a great job. I'm just going to sit back and listen. keep going. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Without you mothers, none of us would be here
That's right.
today. So we owe you such a debt of gratitude. Thank you, mothers. And today the topic is going to be rather short. In fact, we're going to roll the topic into a question and answer period. So those of you who are live on the call, I hope you've jotted down the phone numbers that we're giving you, because we want you to participate. You are the people that make this call. You are the people that this call is for. And so basically the King diet, my first comment is about the King diet. It's been basically written in stone for 20-some years. And really, the last couple of weeks are the only time that I've ever made any adjustments to it or changes to it, and that's simply because we have learned a little bit more. Ginger has been, ginger, not the lady, but you know, the spice ginger, has been a subject for a long time, and we've recently found out that ginger root is not good for the diet. And there's an update. I don't remember the exact details, but there's an update if you go into the blog and go back. And there is a difference between ginger root and ginger powder. And the ginger powder is fine for stage 1 of the diet. The ginger root you're going to want to stage 2. So that's one update to the diet. Another update is that boar's head has been an approved boar's head ham and boar's head oven roast turkey. Well, they've been taken off the list. I have no idea why, but boar's head went and added sugar at some point within the last few years. And for that reason, we're taking off boar's head from the approved list. Now, those of you who tuned in before the recording started, Robin was sharing that each of you are my research team and that I learned from you, which is very true. And the gentleman emailed me after I did an update on the power of onions, raw onions. And he emailed me, I think his name was Dave, and he said, wow, he got his life back. And this was the subject, I believe, of today's update that went out. He got his life back simply by eating onions, leeks, garlic, and chives. And I thought, well, that's rather interesting. That's great. And I didn't pay much attention to it for a while. And I realized the gut. We've been talking about the gut, the stomach, for eons, at least for a couple of years, and the importance of what goes on in the gut and how the gut biome gets destroyed with things like glyphosate. That's Roundup. For those of you who may be new, Roundup herbicide produced by evil Monsanto, along with their ridiculous, stupid, genetically modified organisms. Now, look, my training is a chemical engineer, okay? And back in the 70s and 80s, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed chemical engineer, I had the idea, that we don't need farms. I can make anything. I could take a carbon atom. I could take methane, for instance. And I could take methane and I could make that into anything I wanted to by chemical processes. And being a chemical engineer, I could build a chemical plant to produce bread, meat, anything I wanted. So, sounded great to me. Well, later on I left that field and got into stress management, learned about nutrition, learned about there's a difference between chemicals and things that are created naturally that have been here for eons and eons. And so, Monsanto never learned that lesson. Nobody at Monsanto understands that. They're stupid, they're ignorant, and they make a fortune. And the glyphosate, there are, they've set aside billions of dollars simply for cancer. But when this thing unravels, they're going to need to set billions of dollars for autism, for diabetes, Morgellons if we ever get acknowledged as it being a real disease, because glyphosate is a natural antibiotic. It's patented as an antibiotic. It's patented as a descaling mechanism used in boilers. That means it blocks minerals. So not only is it a natural antibiotic, but it limits our ability to assimilate minerals. And if you listen to Dr. Zach Bush in the series of videos, GMOs Revealed, he's a young doctor, extremely intelligent, understands the interworkings of this thing. Well, we get it in the water that we drink, we get it in the food that we eat, because today is the day of chemical farming. When I grew up, we planted, and I put the cultivators on the tractor, and we got rid of the weeds that way, and so they wouldn't soak up the nutrients that the corn and the vegetables we planted so they could grow. They don't do that today. They plant the seeds, and they spray with glyphosate, which kills all of the weeds except the plants. They target the glyphosate so it won't kill the plants that they want to grow. And then they put genetically modified organisms in the seed to kill the bugs and worms that would normally eat the. So they don't put pesticide on the plants like they used to, where you could take the vegetables and wash the pesticides off. No. It's in the plant. It's in the food that we eat. So when we eat chemically modified organisms and steer away from organic, we're getting the pesticides within us. And what does all that do? It kills the gut biome, destroys the gut biome. So when this gentleman emailed me, I thought, wow, that's incredible. That's really where we should focus, because, you know, the King diet can be a very healthy diet if you're into vegetables and leafy green salads, or it could be a very unhealthy diet if you're into Burger King and going to Burger King and saying, okay, I want 6 of your burgers, but don't give me a bun, don't give me any mayonnaise or anything like that. Just give me tomato and onion, and that's great. So it could be a very unhealthy diet. So let's start the diet focusing on leafy green vegetables with leeks, chives, all this raw, onions, and garlic, which we've known for years. Garlic is pretty super powerful. So that's the third change that I've implemented that and suggesting that when we get started. Now, people question the diet. It's very precise, very detailed. You don't want to waver from it. If you have any question, you know, the best way to test a diet is to simply go on a medically supervised fast for 3 days. Eat nothing for 3 days. Drink water. That's it. Drink water, hydrate, drink water. And you'll notice the activity of the parasites basically becomes minimal. You can do this also by just going to the butcher shop and getting bones from beef, and bringing them home, putting them in a pot, adding some water to it, and adding some salt, but not diamond salt, because diamond salt's got sugar in it, so make sure the salt that you use to flavor has no sugar, and some pepper. You can add in some leek, although the leeks are better if they're raw. You can add in the onions, and you can, you know, flavor it that way. That's another way of testing the diet. So once you realize that the diet, the food has a connection with parasitic activity, then you can go wholeheartedly into the diet, know that you are on the path to success. And much like this gentleman said, he felt he was cured. Well, I've been there. I've been on the diet for 90 days. I felt I was cured. Believe me, thought I was cured. I had many people over the years say that, oh, wow, I'm cured. But go off that diet for about 7 to 10 days and start eating watermelon and peanut butter, and believe me, you're not cured. There is no cure. So that's a good point, reminder here. The AMA and the FDA require me to inform everybody on this call that none of us are medical doctors. Margie, Robin, Ethel, me, Chris, none of us are medical doctors. Before you accept any of our recommendations or even start the King diet, you are to discuss them thoroughly with your medical doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you're presently experiencing. We're also instructed by the AMA to inform you that we are not here to treat any skin disease or any disease at all. We're not here to cure. We're not here to mitigate. We're not here to diagnose any skin disease. So what the hell can we do? Well, we can educate. We can educate you on how to clean them out of your body, utilizing the diet and the targeted supplements. We can educate you how to clean them out of your environment, using simple things like ammonia. For more resistant things, well, we have a lot of blog posts up on our main site, morgellonscure.com. You can search keyword disinfect and go back. We have a lot of things in the store, enzymes. We have disinfectants. There's a thing we call the triple pesticide listed in the book. Chapter 3 is 55 or 56 pages of how to clean your body. And that's the third thing, bathing up to 3 times a day. So you get these things out of your skin. Many people, by the time they come to us, have layers and layers of skin that's been destroyed and needs to be gotten rid of. And so the bathing, you get in the bathtub. Now, if you're dealing with Morgellons, do I have Morgellons or do I have Collembola? Well, you can pretty well self-diagnose yourself for Morgellons. Just go in the bathtub, add our nature's gift, only a capful, the cap you screw off of it, and put in some peppermint oil or something like that as a disinfectant that is explained in Chapter 3. And if you are dealing with Morgellons, you're going to have debris coming out of your skin. You're going to see it around the ring of your tub. That's Morgellons. If you're only dealing with Collembola, Springtails, there won't be any debris. Okay, no debris whatsoever. But with the Morgellons, you will definitely see it. So that's a way that you can actually self-diagnose yourself. That's up to you. So we are here to educate you how to get them out of your environment, how to get them out of your skin, and how to build health and immune functioning, utilizing various targeted supplements that we discuss from time to time. The little white things coming out of your skin, they're organisms. That's it, organisms. We don't know what they are. You see, when it comes to Morgellons, there are no 2 people with exactly the same set of symptoms. Some people have filaments coming out of their, well, everybody's got filaments of some sort coming out of their body. That defines Morgellons, according to Dr. Saverly, who wrote the book Morgellons, the Legitimization of a Disease. But they can be of infinite sizes and varieties and colors. So no 2 people have exactly the same filaments and fibers coming out of their skin. They can be practically microscopic. No 2 people people have white goo, people have black goo, people have no goo. People have organisms, an infinite variety of organisms. They can look like worms, they can nematodes, fomites. They can look like insects, cotton balls. They can look like plastic things, like barbs. They can look like anything, an infinite variety. To get anything tested is a waste of your money. Unless the only reason you ever want to get anything tested by sending samples off to vet DNA is to perhaps bring it to the attention of your landlord that your apartment is infested with something, so he'll send in an exterminator, or perhaps you have a a legal case going on, for substantiation, third party. That's the only reason you ever want to waste money getting things tested. The bottom line is clean them out of your skin, clean them out of your body, and clean them out of your environment. We don't care what they are. We know how to destroy them. That's the key. Destroy them, clean them. That's it. Okay.
Okay, I have a number of questions from another person.
Great.
What are there any decaf coffee brands that are okay?
No.
Okay. What is the problem with store-bought teas and also decaf teas.
Well, there's nothing wrong with, well, teas are great. In our store, we have probably 9. We just added comfrey. These teas have no additives. If you read the ingredients on the teas that you buy in the store, I don't know why. Why do they put that junk in there? It's a dry tea leaf. You know, are they afraid bugs are going to eat it, or I don't know. There's junk in the teas that you buy. Even if you go to a tea store where you know, you go and buy your cup of tea and that's all they do is serve you great, wonderful teas. They have additives in this stuff, and the additives are not agreeable with the diet. So this is why we added the teas in our store for the tea lovers. And as time goes on and the popularity grows, we'll add more combinations and varieties of teas. But the ones that we have in the store are great. In fact, the best tea ever is Cistus Tea. It's the healthiest tea. It's anti-inflammatory. It is powerful.
Breaks down biofilm.
Right. And coffees, you need to be careful. No decaf coffee. No blends of coffee. No Starbucks. Because they soak the beans in oil. So something like 8 o'clock that you buy in the grocery store, well, it should be fine. But again, the diet is very precise, and it is right on target for 99.5%. But there may be 5.5% of us who cannot have coffee at all. So this is why we encourage, and a tool that Margie has many times recommended is a diary, keeping a diary of what you eat, and there are other applications of the diary as well, as she may go into later on. But this is what you want to do. Keep the diary and make sure that, test everything that's on the diet to make sure that you're not in that 0.5%. Because some people can't have rice, very rare. Some people can't have spelt, but very rare. Or one lady found that rice a certain time of day is okay, and the other time of day it's not. So this is why you want to be very, you want to be like a researcher on this.
Right. And also, I wanted to say, you know, decaf coffee has 98% caffeine, so it's only like 2% different.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, there's three more questions on here. This person started taking anxiety tincture with kava, passion flower, bacopa herb, albizia bark, and lavender flower. Is that? I don't know anything about those things. So
Diary. The idea.
Yeah. Activity, then you know it's one of those ingredients.
And report to us. You know, the bottom line is you get yourself to the point where you feel relatively any symptoms, relatively any itching or biting. 0 biting, and maybe I had a scale of 0 to 6 that I would rate myself. 0 to 0.5 was acceptable. 6 was, it couldn't get any worse. It's like you're dragged out of bed at 3 a.m. because of the extreme discomfort to jump into a bathtub. So when I was down to around 0.5 or so, I would say that's acceptable, and then I would experiment with a new food, or in this case, a new tincture or oil.
Okay. Does Bounce kill or only repel parasites in the dryer?
I don't know.
Bounce by itself doesn't do a whole lot. I would soak it with ammonia and peppermint oil.
Yeah. I know. Bounce is something I picked up from the post that I read many, many years ago, and I said, well, it can't hurt, and your clothing may smell better, and I hope there's no harmful. I never really looked to see if there's any harmful chemicals that it's adding to. I mean, like years ago, used detergent. Most detergents and most laundry soaps that you buy in the store, in the grocery store, you need to read the ingredients because you know, I'm a chemical engineer, but I don't know all the chemicals. There's 80,000 chemicals out there that we don't even know the impact on the human body. And only recently, within the last year or so, have I learned of SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. Sodium lauryl sulfate is in a lot of the things that you buy in a store that you put into your laundry. And guess what they cause? Rashes, allergies. I mean, you could even pick up a vaginal infection from these things.
Can I read something here I just pulled up?
Sure.
So for dryer sheets, this is from, let me see who this person is. Oh, it's just one of those questions on the internet. It says, there's more harmful ingredients than kitchen cleaning products in dryer sheets. Many dryer sheets contain fragrances and other chemicals that can trigger asthma, disrupt hormones. In one study, researchers tested 5 named brand dryer sheets. The findings show that the dryer sheets emitted 15 endocrine disrupting compounds, the chemicals associated with asthma. Evidence from studies suggests that EDCs, which are the endocrine disrupting compounds, which are very associated with our immunity, can affect developing reproduction, nervous system, metabolism, and cancer. So it's just one.
Wow. See, this is brand new today. Dryer sheets are now out of the next edition. No more dryer sheets. They're gone. They're history.
Yeah, you can spray a sock or a washcloth with ammonia and with peppermint oil and put them in the dryer. Doesn't have to be a dryer sheet.
I use essential oils. I throw a little peppermint in the dryer. I just
peppermint.
Yeah, peppermint.
Peppermint, lavender, absolutely.
Yeah, cedar. Cedar.
Yeah, cedar. Mm-hmm.
Well, that brings me to the next question. Is Cedarcide or cedar oil, diatomaceous earth, and mineral oil, which is a better mix? So Cedarcide and cedar oil or diatomaceous earth and mineral oil?
I don't know about mixing them. Mineral oil? Yeah. I don't know what we would use mineral oil for.
I wouldn't mix diatomaceous earth with it. I mean, I've mixed diatomaceous earth with like coconut oil and essential oils and put it on my skin.
Oh yes, you can do that. We have it in our Super MSM gel.
Right.
We mixed it in. You can. True, you can mix the diatomaceous earth with any oil carrier, coconut oil, mineral oil, whatever you want. That's fine. Okay, I understand where she's getting at.
Cedar oil. Cedar oil. The only use I've had is for like you rubbing it on wood and furniture.
Yes, you want the red cedar oil. We have it in the stores. The red cedar oil, and you apply that. You know, some people say that the organisms actually can penetrate their counters, their wood, and so I mean, these are some of these organisms are pretty mean. Like I said before, an infinite variety of organisms can be hijacked by Morgellons. And the red cedar oil is the best to apply to any surface where these organisms might be penetrating.
But diatomaceous earth is not great for wood, so I don't know.
No, I wouldn't do that. If you do want to use diatomaceous earth in the environment, take a couple of tablespoons, put it in a 32-ounce spray bottle, add water, shake it up good, and then spray it lightly. You won't see it because it's wet. So when it dries, if you overspray it, you're going to have a lot of white, too much. So you want to spray it very lightly.
Next question that I have, on a previous call, one of our guests suggested that spinal puncture was the only way to diagnose, actually not what infections, but to diagnose Lyme disease. It was very specific, spinal tap. And but Richard, you got specific blood test, which is not covered by insurance and is very expensive. And if you're going to go the blood test route, I think is the most accurate. This person is asking about that blood test that you got for Lyme.
Well, I'm not familiar with that test, and if that subject was discussed, I also referenced the microscopy. So if you want an absolute test for Lyme disease, the Western blot, forget it. It's a waste of money. In fact, testing for Lyme disease, period, is a waste of money.
I agree.
But if you want definitive results, you go to a lab like Fry, F-R-Y Labs in Arizona, I think it's Scottsdale, and ask for microscopy. So your doctor's going to have to draw the blood, and then you're going to have to put it on ice or something, and the instructions on how to submit it are in the appendix of the book. So you send it out that way, and then microscopy. In fact, in the book, you'll see how it works. There are photographs of my blood where I was identified with the spirochetes and how they identify them. I say it's a waste of time because the bottom line is if you have filaments and fibers, that's Morgellons, according to Dr. Saverly. If you look at the research, now a lot of the research that the Morgellons Foundation has on their website is what we call pilot studies. They take a small group of people, maybe a dozen people, and see what they get, and then based on that, they're saying, well, it would be good to have a larger study, but, you know, basically 12, this is what happens with 12 people. Well, the people that they've tested, they found that basically 90% of the people with Morgellons have Lyme disease. That's their test. There are people who claim that 100% of the people who have Morgellons have Lyme disease. So that means everybody who gets their lives back with this program has Lyme disease. I had Lyme disease. It almost destroyed me. It almost killed me 13 years ago. I'm 99.9% recovered because I was lucky. I already was taking a great multiple vitamin and minerals, and then somebody suggested the Max 1 product to boost glutathione. I had no idea what it would do or affect my Lyme disease. I figured, what the hell, I'll try it. By boosting glutathione, 95% recovery. Along came acillin, argarcillin. I added that. Again, had no idea that would have, and I just thought I'd try a capsule, and I had detox, incredible detox. That brought me to the other 99.9%. So the nutritional package is a Collembola Lyme package, and before you do anything with testing or treatment, do that to build health and immune functioning. And you may find then that if you do undergo any LLMD, Lyme literate medical doctor approaches of using antibiotics, that you will greatly benefit from it, or you may not even need it, like I didn't have to go. I went through 6 months of rotation of antibiotics, and that's the other thing their research says. They had a study involving 10 people with Lyme disease, 2 people with Lyme disease and Morgellons, and they found that the antibiotic approach did not wipe out Lyme disease, did not end it. So my worst problem with Lyme disease was after I went through 6 months of antibiotics. Not before, after.
Well, and even, you know, many Lyme doctors recognize how important nutrition is. Even if they use antibiotics, they are very focused on the nutrition as well.
Well, the nutrition is important, and the King diet is the best diet there is for Lyme disease.
Absolutely.
There is no better diet. You know, strangely, I mentioned it last week, that many people have brain fog, and by boosting glutathione, that often often eliminates brain fog. But I was reading a book by Dr. Rothfield, and he was talking about brain fog in there, and about apparently what happens when we have an overabundance of yeast. And this, when the gut flora gets destroyed, yeast takes over. And with an overabundance of yeast, what happens is that it creates alcohol. The yeast create alcohol, and your alcohol levels go up. So you could be out driving your car, run a little stop sign, or not make it through the light in time, get pulled over, get tested for alcohol, and not pass the alcohol test. You might have 4 times the legal limit and not have had 1 drop of alcohol to drink, simply because the overproduction of yeast creating alcohol in your blood. Hence, brain fog. And he basically says that when we have a high yeast population, we simply just become so accustomed to it that that's our normal. And we just have brain fog, but we're actually drunk. We live our lives drunk.
Well, and alcohol creates lots of sugar in your body.
It feeds the parasites. So this is, and his approach, the doctor's approach, diet. And the best diet there is, the king diet. Minus white rice. Just take out the white rice. Use brown rice. Great.
I have another question. How do you know if you have springtails?
Well, springtails usually, they are round-shaped organisms about the size of a dust particle that's basically almost impossible to see with your eyes. If you Google them, there are 6,000 different species or better, and they are about 300 angstroms in length. They have a middle that bends like a spring, hence the name springtails. They will lie on the floor, and when they sense something in the vicinity, they boom, and that springs them into the air. They're non-directional. They can't control the direction in which they are going. They can spring as high as about maybe 10 to 12 inches. So if you have them outside like I do, sometimes I'll wear my riding boots outside, and they can't jump that high. So by nature, they are around the ground, so you're going to feel them around your ankles and lower legs. If you've ever had an infestation of fleas, it's very much like that, except you won't see any organisms like you'll see black fleas. So you won't see them. So they will spring up, and you'll feel the itching and the biting around the ankles, lower legs, and the feet area. Now, as they progress, they live in damp spaces. They love sewer pipes that are leaking, or they love drains. And they love flower pots. So they can be in the dirt in your flower pot. Now, if you look at mine don't have any. You know, they're fine. My buddies are great back here. But they can be in flower pots. They can be, if you're working in the ground outside, and they can. Now, not all species. No, there are 6,000 species. Okay, they are necessary to clean up all the leaves. They deteriorate the debris that's on the planet. Without them, we would be dead. You know, we couldn't go more than a decade. We'd be overridden with this organic material coming from the trees and leaves and things like that. So, but there are about if you go back in the blog post, there are about 19 species that have been identified as having an affinity for man, okay? So some of them may be more resistant. I'm fortunate. Every one of you are fortunate, because the original species that I was impacted with was not a resistant type. I got rid of them with ammonia. So, and then for many years I wondered why, well, hell, ammonia works. Why are you having trouble with, you're not disinfecting enough? So for years I thought that it was the person and not the organism that was having the problem. But along came people like Robin and others, and along came a secondary infection that I had gotten, more resistant variety, more difficult to get out of my environment. So I gained an appreciation for resilience. And this is why we have the triple pesticide. That was the first step. This is why we have ozone. This is why we have the electrostatic sprayer, because we want a complete arsenal in being able to handle these critters. They're not easily handled by ammonia for everybody. So around the feet and the ankles. Now, my first exposure was not from the ground, was from a cloud of dust. As I pulled a vine from a tree, I dislodged a bird nest up there that was dusty, and it descended upon me. And what I experienced was a combination of mites and strongyloides and Collembola, and I had very tiny sparkling things on my skin. In the sunlight, you could see my skin sparkling. These were apparently the eggs of these organisms. So I had them all over my body, just not my legs and feet. And what they like to do is they also like to focus, the organisms like to go to the shoulders and the back of the scalp, and in that area. And that's where you will find non-healing lesions. They also love eyelashes and eyebrows. I don't know why, but crusty feeling in your eyelashes and eyebrows. Now, a few weeks ago, we had a fellow, Jeremy Mumphy, on the program, and he said that that was a sign of Morgellons. I beg to differ, because I have had, instead of having Morgellons, Collembola at the same time as many people do, I had Collembola and only Collembola for a period of time. And it is associated with Collembola, not Morgellons. So those are the symptoms, and that's where the organism shows up on the skin.
Right. I have another.
I have Nick. He wants to ask a question. Nick, your line is open.
How you doing, Rich?
Hey, Nick.
And everybody else.
Hi. Welcome back.
I just want to tell you, thank you. I just want to tell you about I had the procedure done, what I was telling you about last week. That's irrelevant, but I had the blood procedure. I don't know if it worked or not, but I noticed that, getting back to this, the question I have is my bathing treatments 3 times a day. I've been doing it for 3 months. I feel myself, like my skin drying out. I'm not sure if I should, I'm not bathing what we talked about over the phone. I'm not using that, but I'm using borax and vinegar and whatever else.
Are you using the nature's gift?
No, I have to order that. I haven't gotten a chance to order that. I'm going to order that. But the thing is that, what was I going to say? Should I keep bathing if it's drying out my skin? I mean, does it help?
You really need to hydrate your skin, and the things that you're using are not going to hydrate your skin. The borax is not going to hydrate it. The apple cider vinegar is not going to hydrate it. You really need, you never want to run out of the nature's gift. It hydrates your skin. It goes deep inside your skin. between baths, you'd want to have something like the Nature's Gift skin lotion to apply, and that goes deep into your skin. It takes water into your skin. Now, we're not here, anybody that's new to the program, we're not here to talk about jargon and try to get you to buy our products. Our products are fantastic. I got my life back way before I had any products. Right. But my skin got dehydrated. It got, so our products have definitive benefits, but you can get your life back without our products and suffer dry skin, true, also. So that's definitely what I would suggest. You want to hydrate your skin.
Right. The other thing is,
in the meantime, you might even use some. There's Aveeno, I think, is an oil that something you can get in a drugstore to help hydrate your skin.
But it's not use coconut oil.
Yeah, coconut oil. You can get that anywhere. You can use that.
Does the water have to be piping, scalding hot?
No.
Oh no, not when you're using Nature's Gift. For me, it did. And back in the beginning, it had to be piping, scalding hot. But with Nature's Gift, it doesn't have to be hot.
No, what I'm saying is right now with the borax, does it have to be piping hot?
Well,
unbearable hot?
Well, for me, it did.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's just I don't know if that's I'm not a doctor and I don't know if it's.
Well, yeah, I would say you want to get your order in. We do have a sale right now. You can buy the 9 ounce for like $57.50. The new formulation. So, and it'll work just as well as the one you were paying $127 for.
Right. The other quick thing is that I've been eating varieties, different foods. I've been staying on the diet and writing a diary. I looked on the back of the packages. I looked on prosciutto. It had 1,000 milligrams of salt and it was dried. I don't know if that was good or bad, but I noticed a difference when I did eat that this morning and some eggs with that. But, I just don't, one other thing is, too, when you said I'm not going to do this, but when you did go to China, did you get some kind of closure?
I never went to China.
I know you're going to laugh. I thought you did go to China.
No, I said if I knew the answer were there, I would go there. I'd spend the money, it was worth it.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, everybody. I mean, I'm thinking about going to Mexico to get some kind of medicine to I mean, I know it's extreme, but it's just so.
Well, if I knew a place that had medicine that would work, I'd send you there. We do get our lufeneron from Mexico. We get the fenbendazole from New Mexico. They have the mite killer medication from Mexico, but there's no medication that's going to make a difference that I know of. You'd be totally wasting. Total waste of money. Ivermectin is used for skin mites, scabies, along with permethrin or a double descending dose of what is that medication?
Prednisone?
Prednisone, right. That's what ivermectin is used for. It's used for strongyloides in combination with albendazole. It's used for basically nematodes. That's not, all of us can be affected by these nematodes. That's why we use diatomaceous earth and we use fenbendazole instead.
Right.
Fenbendazole is far more beneficial.
Now, real quick, he put me on dicycline. I'm on
doxycycline?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a basic antibiotic they use initially for Lyme disease. They treat you for several weeks, and then that's it for Lyme disease, to my knowledge. Is that right, Margie?
I repeat that. I'm sorry.
Doxycycline is basic medication they use for Lyme disease for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
They use it prophylactically for a tick bite, and then if you actually have it, you will be treated with it. Yeah.
Right. The LLMDs, the Lyme literate doctors, get a little more involved, and they use other antibiotics. They are in the book as well. The ones that they used with me were Bactrim, Biaxin, and Zithromax, but they have different antibiotics that they use in rotation.
Right, so basically still keep bathing. Is that what you're
Keep bathing.
suggesting?
Did you try the doctor in Washington that Jeremy was talking about? What was her name? Who worked with Dr. Sadler?
Well, this doctor isn't the healer. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm coming home next week. I could try that doctor, but once again, is that like just putting a Band-Aid on the situation? You know,
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, Dr. Saverly, I think, has a lot more experience in dealing with the Morgellons than whoever you're going to. Robin, do you remember the name of the other?
I don't remember the name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue. But if you go back and listen to the video calls, her name is mentioned several times. But that would be where you want to go. Basically, everybody on this call, once you know you have Morgellons, you should go to those doctors. Get the antibiotics. That is a medically recognized approach.
Right.
Now, the research says they don't work, but they do work short term. So you can use them, use the diet, and clean up your environment so that by the time you get off of the antibiotics, you're free. It might be the faster, better way to go for some people. It's not affordable for everybody.
Right. The problem is for me, I put so much ammonia in there. The hotel people started complaining, so I got to watch. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to make.
Well, get the enzymes. Get our enzymes instead of the ammonia.
I got to get that. I got to get that too, or maybe I'll use dermatitis herb. I guess that'll help. I don't know, but I noticed when I change my sheets, I can't even go to sleep on that bed. If I try to get a couple hours sleep, I got to lay on this couch. But I constantly ask them for sheets. But then I notice activity in the morning. Like last night, it started like burning. Oh God, it started. I don't know if you ever experienced that. Like burning on your back, on your shoulders, on your front. I mean, it's just.
Well, the burning sensation indicates you're dealing with some kind of skin fungus, perhaps. That's if you go to WebMD, you'll see a symptom of skin fungus is burning.
Right, or
now the apple cider vinegar is the right thing to use in your bath water for that, but skin fungus can be very bad. You want to read the section in the book about skin fungus. It can be very difficult to get rid of. It's the same thing that you're going to do to get rid of Collembola, but it's difficult, just like Collembola.
Yeah, I'm still getting the itching and biting sensations, like intermittently, not as bad as back in the day when I got it in 1994. Nowhere near as there, but you know, it's just very. What you say in the book is the same thing. What other people can relate to. The same thing. What I'm going through. It's been 3 months.
Right.
You know, you feel like you jump out of your skin.
Okay. Thanks for calling in. Good luck. Let us know how you make out with that doctor. Okay?
I have a couple of things from Megan from Michigan. I don't know if it's Megan or Megan. So she had some kind of, the doctor, some kind of parasite in her eyes and a cyst from it, and they thought she would lose her vision permanently. But she used the colloidal silver protocol that we have, and she got her vision back. They gave her prednisone drops for her eyes, and it made the parasites go crazy, she said.
Yeah, what was that? They gave her prednisone, and what impact did it do?
It made the parasites in her eyes more active.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So the colloidal silver is the best that's great.
Yeah. Also, she had a question she wanted to ask. I don't know what these are. She wanted to know about microneedle rollers.
I've never heard of it.
I have no clue what that is.
I don't know either.
Do you know? I don't know what a microneedle roller is, so
No.
sorry, we can't help you with that.
Okay, any other questions?
What was the name of the antibiotic that's typical for Lyme and prophylactic for Lyme?
Doxycycline?
Doxycycline.
Yeah. Well, if there are no more calls or questions, I guess we'll close this segment. We're getting a lot of feedback anyway. I don't know where that noise is.